Hello, guys. Good morning. So, we're about to begin our event. And before we dive right into the session, let's have a very brief introductory session. So, basically, DSC MEC in collaboration with IDC MEC, Dave Quest, and Hack Club MEC, ഒരുമിച്ച് collaborate ചെയ്യുന്ന ഒരു event ആണ് Divergent എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്. So, Divergent is basically a series of webinars wherein you get introduced to a lot of domains which you can explore. So, ഞങ്ങളൊക്കെ first years ആയിരുന്ന സമയത്ത് we didn't have ഇത്രയും ഒരു ഐഡിയ ലൈക്ക് വാട്ട് ടു ഡു അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഈ ഒരു ഡൊമെയിൻസ് ഒക്കെ എക്സ്പ്ലോർ ചെയ്യാം ഇത്രയും ഓപ്ഷൻസ് ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു എന്ന് ഞങ്ങൾക്ക് അറിയില്ലായിരുന്നു. So we thought we should provide that to you guys so that you can start early and you guys can make good progress. This is not just restricted to one domain. We have multiple domains coming up, and today's topic is going to be web development, and we have two amazing speakers here with us, two very passionate people, who are very skilled in web development. Yeah, they're nodding their heads. So welcome Sidharth and Nikhil, our key speakers for today. Hi, Sidharth.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, you are audible. So Sidharth is our MEC Google Developer Students Club lead. Hi.
Hi, for this term 2021-22. And myself, I'm a passionate web developer, and that's why they called me here to take this session. And first year, if I remember correctly, തുടങ്ങിയിട്ട് വെബ് ഡെവലപ്മെന്റ് തുടങ്ങിയിട്ട് അധികം നാളൊന്നും ആയിട്ടില്ല ശരിക്കും പറഞ്ഞ ഫസ്റ്റ് ഇയർ വന്ന സമയത്ത്. And it was like through these events I gained some good resources and connections through which I explored and took that opportunity. So അതിൻ്റെയൊക്കെ ഒരു എൻഡ് റിസൾട്ട് ആയിട്ടാണ് കുറെയൊക്കെ നമുക്ക് പഠിക്കാൻ പറ്റിയത്. So I suggest that എല്ലാ ഓപ്പർച്യൂണിറ്റീസ് എക്സ്പ്ലോർ ചെയ്യുക and find what you love. That's it.
Yeah, guys, audience, Sidharth is a really good mentor. You can feel free to ask any doubts. We have a Q&A session at the end. And we move on to our next key speaker, Nikhil. Hi, Nikhil. Nikhil, നമ്മുടെ web lead ആണ് Developer Students Club. He's also a very passionate person, very passionate about web development. So, hi, Nikhil.
Hi, Merlin. Hi, guys. So, yeah, like Sidharth said, I also started after first year only, but we actually had the luxury of, the pandemic. Like we had online classes, so we could find time in between. But the common problem that we faced was, we didn't know where to start. Like we went from we explored everything, and then we came, we shouldn't have started like this. We should have started and gone in a certain way. So we take this session so that we can convey that insight and that knowledge to you so that you can, plan your journey properly. So I hope this will be beneficial to you, and looking forward to taking the session. Like you all are from CS, this is open to all branches, okay? Like just don't forward it to other classes thinking that this is only for CS. Okay, this is open to everyone. Like web development is a field that anyone can pursue. So when you're forwarding this message, do forward it to all branches.
So with that, I'm leaving the stage to our speakers, Sidharth and Nikhil.
Okay, so the first thing is, what is web development? So web development is development with concerns with the internet. So whatever you see on the internet relates to web development. That means the websites, the servers, and the design. So I'll just show you an example of a site, okay? And I'll show you how. This is the website of Tesla. Now I would suggest you go to this. Okay? So like when you see such a website, what is the first thing you look at it? You see the Navbar. So the Navbar needs to have the attention and the navigation. And in this website, if you click on the down arrow, what happens is it goes to a different section. So you need to manipulate your screen in such a way that when you click on the button, it navigates to another section. And this is actually a simple website, but due to the animations, it looks quite good, right? Another such website is the website of Meta. Okay, now this is a bit more complex, okay, but this has, you can view this like a developer as well as a user. So from a user, if you come to this website, you can scroll down, and if you hover over a card, the card actually scales up a bit. See? And what happens is, and if you go over a link, hover over a link, what happens is the opacity changes. So the user easily understands that, hey, this is a link, it is something I can click on and something will happen. So all this, including the design, how the components are rendered, and the backend server, all this corresponds to web development. So we have a definition here. We have a web development definition here. Web development is everything involved in the creation of a website. So coding, programming side of website production. And the next question is why web development? So you will have jobs. So the web development domain is so large, and it is supposed to grow 13% from 2020 to 2030. Then you have opportunities. So basically, if you are a web development, you're just not just a web development. Like, you can explore a lot. You will basically learn how an internet function, okay, how a front-end app sends a request to the server, gets a response. So basically, from design to front-end to back-end and to hosting, you learn a lot, and you have a lot of opportunities in those specific areas, and you can pursue a career in each. Next thing is web development is flexible. So what is flexible? You can be a freelancer, you can have a steady job. So what do you mean by freelance? You can either get hired by somebody, like I need to make a website. So somebody approaches me. I mean, I need a website. So I approach someone else to make a website. I pay him money and he works just for me. And then he moves on to another person. Or you can be employed in a company. So a company's website, you maintain the website, stuff like that. Next part is, what are the fields in web dev? Now that will be taken by Sidharth. I'm handing over to him.
What we have, the different fields in web development. Different fields in the sense, we can split the website into different parts, or the work in designing or building a website into different parts, and those can be assigned to different people, and we have separate domains for each part, and that are the fields in web development. So basically, at the base level, we have these three fields. That is the front end. So front end guys are those people who design these cool sites and implement the way it looks, and they are the cool guys out there. And backend guys, they are actually the people whom you might refer to as those coders and those എന്താണ് ഭയങ്കര ബുജി തലയുള്ളവർ എന്നൊക്കെ പറഞ്ഞ് നമ്മൾ വിളിക്കുന്ന ആ ഒരു സെക്ഷൻ. It's not like that, but usually refer to that backend. People think like backend development is a bit something is going crazy over there. Okay, so it's not like that. I'll explain what's crazy in web development. So backend and payment processing. If you take a website payment processing, then the database authentication related things are all implemented in the backend. So that's what backend is. So in front end, it's related with the GUI, what you are seeing. Even if you take this side, this is Canva. Okay, so the way this home button looks, these icons, and the effect when I move the mouse over a button, that's called hover. And when I hover over this, the way it changes, it interacts, it is what we're seeing is the GUI, and all these things are designed by these front-end developers. So they use what is the basic building blocks of a website, that is HTML, CSS, and JS. So that gives the interactivity. And backend developers are responsible for building and managing web servers, applications, and pages to enable smooth operations to avoid escalations. That is what I've told already, the authentication related part, then the database, and such related things are implemented by backend developers. And even placing this website on a system and letting others view it. That is called hosting. So അതൊക്കെ ചെയ്യുന്നത് backend developers ആണ്. And we have full stack. So this is the crazy part in web development. Okay, in full stack, sometimes it combines both front end and back end. What you do in the front end as well as what you do in the back end, it's handled by one person, okay, or a group of people who are doing this full stack development. So there is actually jobs, front end developer, back end developer, and full stack developer. So sometimes people need a full stack developer because ഒരാളെ കൊണ്ട് തന്നെ മാക്സിമം പണി എടുപ്പിച്ച് കഴിഞ്ഞിട്ടുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ അത് ഭയങ്കര സിമ്പിൾ ആയിട്ട് എല്ലാ പ്രോസസ്സും കംപ്ലീറ്റ് ചെയ്യും. അങ്ങനെ ആലോചിക്കാം. പക്ഷെ അങ്ങനെയല്ല. It's like you can understand both worlds, front end and also back end, and the integration. So that is full stack web development. That is, they're well versed with both front end and back end operations. They work on solving back end issues, at the same time manage front end issues and resolve the user queries. They integrate both front end and back end and build it together. So that's what they do. And that's the base level. At the base level, the fields in web development. And coming to, yeah, it's more of like an interactive part here. I'll also ask Nikhil to join me here.
Yes.
Internship and experience, you can start sharing your own.
Okay, so the first internship I did was in December, and that was in my second year. So basically, how I got it, I mean, before saying how I got it, I think I should say like where I started. Okay, so I started in April. Okay, I started in April learning HTML, CSS, JS, and then I didn't know where to start. So I explored a lot of stuff. I went to React, Angular, I mean, a lot of stuff. And then eventually by November, I came to know that, okay, I've learned enough. Now I can put myself to the test. So that's when I started applying for internship. And yeah, a lot of rejections, of course. Like I had projects to show, but I mean, the screening process is not so easy. So I used LinkedIn and I applied to some companies. And then, yes, okay, full stack, he will explain once more. Just a second, okay? Okay, so I applied to a lot of companies, and one actually had this hackathon basically. So they screened some people, and then they had an hackathon, and they gave a task. Okay, they gave a task to complete on the weekend. And I completed that, and they invited me for an interview, and then that's how I got the job. The second one was like with some of the seniors actually. Like they were looking for some developers, and somebody happened to give my name, and then they called for an interview. They asked for projects, and then they took some of us into their company for intern. So that was my experience. And I can say this, like if you are pursuing web development, there are a lot of opportunities for you to get internship compared to other fields. Like if it's web development or app development, then yeah, there is a lot more opportunity than the other fields to get, you know, internships. And you have to do internships. Okay, like you shouldn't be like going only through academic procedures. Okay, yeah, marks will come, marks will go, exams will come, exams will go. But at the end, what matters is what companies look for is internships and projects. Okay, so and now I hand it over to Sidharth to share his experience.
So my journey is a bit different. Okay, I started out like back in 9th or 8th standard probably. Like anyway, who think anything?
What is full stack and what is React? Okay, what is React?
What is React?
React is a library.
Yeah, you can explain. After that, I'll once more tell what's full stack.
Yeah, okay. So React is actually a library, a JavaScript library. So what it does is it helps you to make websites much more efficiently and much more, I mean, like if you're building a large website, okay, building it in vanilla JavaScript is not so easy. Like it can become a bit, you know, complex. So React actually simplifies that process. So yeah, most of you won't get it right now. So we are not going into it much. Yeah, Sidharth, I think you can continue.
Okay, so full stack, it's like I've told what is front end web development. What you're seeing is actually front end development. So we have this entire website here and all the elements. I mean, the buttons, this navbar, then the share option, these buttons and everything, these slides, etc. All the design related things and how what you are seeing on the screen. These things are being built by front end developers, and backend developers do. We have logged in here. Here I have Nikhil here, right? You can see his. My screen is actually visible, right?
Yes, Sidharth.
Okay. So how he have joined? He have logged in and then joined. I've shared a link and he have joined that link. And where do our data? All this data and all our account information, all the data that goes into the database, where it's stored, it's in the database of Canva, and that database needs a system as in like a lot of computers, and we call it servers. Okay, so on those servers we store this data. And wait, my assistant is assistant, can we find it sometimes? Okay, so all this data, it's actually being stored in a server. So we call that system the server. And we not only require a server, right? We need some programs to actually save that information, to retrieve that in a correct format. And so all those business logic goes into the backend, and people who code there are backend developers. And people who do both of these roles, they are called full stack developers. That's basically it. They do front end as well as backend. At any point of time in web development, you will be either a full stack developer, because you have to learn backend as well as front end. So sometimes it's not actually you are full stack developer for an entire time. Yeah, most people will actually explore into front end first, then back end, or then back end, then front end, and then later they'll decide, or they'll actually stick with both. And coming to my experience, like I said, I actually started out in eighth standard probably. Always wondered how Google works behind. So I was curious. So I have a couple of friends who are also similar, like-minded like me. And then we have like tried to create our own search engine. So in that process, got to learn how these things work. That's the actual starting point, if I might say. And then coming to college, Excel, right? Namada Excel tech event, we need a site, and we need a lot of associated sites to actually host those events and everything. So Excel വേണ്ടിയിട്ട് കുറെ പേര് ഇങ്ങനെ നമ്മൾ ടീമായിട്ട് വർക്ക് ചെയ്യും. So in that നമ്മൾ selection process, I was there in first year, and I was given a task. എനിക്ക് തന്ന ടാസ്ക് എന്താണെന്ന് വെച്ചാൽ ഒരു ബേസിക് ഫുഡ് ഡെലിവറി വെബ്സൈറ്റിന്റെ ഡിസൈൻ ചെയ്യാന്നുള്ളതായിരുന്നു. So at that time I just forgot all this HTML and how all those things work. So that's how I started again, if I might say. So അങ്ങനെ ഞാൻ സ്വന്തമായിട്ട് ബിൽഡ് ചെയ്യാൻ നോക്കി, and it was quite a mess first, and then slowly I researched some things, how to make some things work. That is how to the HTML and the CSS goes hand in hand together, and how can we implement those navbar through JavaScript and hide that. അങ്ങനത്തെ കുറെ കാര്യങ്ങളൊക്കെ ഞാൻ പഠിച്ചു. അങ്ങനെ വന്ന് പിന്നെ എക്സൽ മാർക്കറ്റിംഗ് ടീമിൽ ഉണ്ടായി. അപ്പോൾ അവിടെ our team created a website. And if you want to see that, just go to marketing.excelmec.org. So that's it, marketing.excelmec.org. So if you go into, sometimes it can be down. Okay, so it was back in 2020, I guess. So that time. So Excel 2020 വേണ്ടിയിട്ട് അതിൽ നിന്നാണ് ഞാൻ തുടങ്ങിയത്. So I got a mentor there, and there were many. One is they are passed out. Okay, that is passed out of college actually and joined several companies, good companies actually. And അവിടെ നിന്ന് to mention them, Suvarna, Shivadas, then Akhil was there, and several others were also there. And we together built that site, and it was quite fun and actually a nalla learning opportunity. And after that, the pandemic came, and I took myself to learn React, which was very challenging for me in the beginning. Okay, so because I didn't know JavaScript, that's the basic thing at that time. So JavaScript like a deep dive ചെയ്തത് ആ ഒരു ടൈമിലാണ്. And I learned JavaScript, and it's എന്താണ് JavaScript എന്നുള്ളത് കമ്മിങ് പറയും. And അവിടെ നിന്ന് പിന്നെ ഒരു JavaScript പഠിച്ചു, and it was like an exponential thing. I've learned how things, and you'll also, some people might actually notice, and it almost took nearly 6 to 7 months to actually curate everything and actually the puzzle solving in the way. You will get the big picture only when you put all those small things together and you see the entire thing. So that's how it works. And consistency is the main part. It's not like you have started this and then after some time you have put it away and then പിന്നെ കുറച്ച് കഴിഞ്ഞിട്ട് അത് എടുത്ത് നോക്കി അത് അങ്ങനെയല്ല. Slowly you are gaining and growing. That's how it works. Coming to my internship, and ഇങ്ങനെ കുറച്ച് പ്രോജക്ട്സ് ഒക്കെ സെൽഫായിട്ട് ചെയ്തു. അത് കഴിഞ്ഞിട്ട് ത്രൂ വൺ ഓഫ് മൈ സീനിയർ ഐ ഗോട്ട് ലൈക്ക് ഒരു ഇന്റേൺഷിപ്പിന്റെ ഒരു ഓപ്പർച്യൂണിറ്റി കിട്ടി. അപ്പോ അത് ഞാൻ റെസ്യൂമെ അയച്ചു കൊടുത്തു. ആൻഡ് ഇറ്റ് വാസ് ലൈക്ക് എ 3-stage ഇന്റർവ്യൂ പ്രോസസ്. ഓക്കെ, സോ ദാറ്റ് ഗേവ് മി എ ടാസ്ക്, ആൻഡ് ഇറ്റ് വാസ് ആക്ച്വലി in Django. So Django is also a library for those backend people interested in backend. Django is a library. You can, our Nikhil will explain what that related things in the last week if we have extra time remaining. So and our task completed when got my internship and done some things there. And അങ്ങനെയാണ് actually ഒരു internship കഴിഞ്ഞു. That's it. So അത് കഴിഞ്ഞിട്ട് DSC. Coming to DSC, I was selected when Aditya was the founder of DSC here. So, and I was selected, and thanks to Aditya for selecting me as the lead last year. So it was a great opportunity last year, and this year when I became the lead also, web development is something which I love to stick on to forever. That's it. So thanks to these awesome people out there in MEC.
Okay, so what you should take away is that like you just need to have passion, and then yeah, internships and projects and jobs, they will come on its
They'll
own.
come.
Okay?
Yeah, they'll come
Yeah.
on the way. You just have to be open yourself to this.
And one more thing,
Opportunity.
like people usually after they study web dev, they like look down upon it and say it's very easy, but only a true web developer knows the struggle, like the process, how one goes through to get to that level. Okay, so like it's not going to happen in a day like other people may claim in YouTube and all. Like it will take months to reach that level. And yeah, just put your head down and work. That's it.
Okay, so that's like കുറച്ച് lengthy എന്നാലും it's like I hope you have got a basic idea. If you have got an idea, just drop the number 7 in the chat box. So awesome, guys. That's now we'll move on to the next part, that is the tools for web dev. So yeah, Nikhil, you can take over.
Yeah, okay. So Sidharth, you can share your screen. Okay, like my screen is like absolutely messed up. Okay, so first thing you need is a computer. I mean, how many of you have logged in from computer? Like, can you put some, I don't know, yeah, put the number 1 there, like if you have logged in from computer. Okay, yeah, so you need a computer and you need a code editor. So basically just go to that link, https://code.visualstudio.com/download. So Sidharth will show you, I mean, we'll go to that site and show you. Okay, and this is not just for web development. Whatever you are gonna pursue, okay, you need a code editor, and Visual Studio Code is one of the most popular code editors that people use. So just go ahead and download it. Yeah, you can keep it for downloading.
Right, you can download it later. So that's it.
Yeah.
There are a lot of editors out there, but the most supported one is Visual Studio Code, and developers love it. That's...
Yes. And yeah, you can go back to the slide now, Sidharth. Okay, next thing you need is a web browser. So basically, whatever code you write, you need something to view the output. And web browser is what you use. I mean, you can use Edge, Chrome, whatever you want. And yeah, inside the web browser, you will have something called DevTools, and you can open it up by Control-Shift-I if you're using Chrome, or you can right click and click on Inspect. Okay, Sidharth will show you that right now. So, okay, Canva, I don't think they will have the HTML in there. Okay, they have. Okay, so what you see right now on the right side is the HTML code. Okay, so yeah, don't get so much like what you say. Don't panic or anything. It's very simple. And then when you come down, you will have a styles column there. Yeah, that is actually CSS. Okay, so HTML is like the skeleton of the thing, and CSS is the muscular system. And is it the inspect element link? Yeah, it is the inspect element link. And then JavaScript is like the nervous system. We can say that connects everything or manipulates everything. Okay, and next up is pillars of web dev, and I leave Sidharth to take that.
So pillars of web dev, these three are the major building blocks of website. That is HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So HTML is basically hypertext markup language. It's the most basic building block of web. It defines the meaning and structure of web content. Just like Nikhil said, HTML, coming to a human analogy, we have HTML as the skeleton. So the entire thing, the structure is actually given to a website by HTML. And we have CSS. CSS is actually the skin or the flesh, and that gives this awesome designs, beautiful designs. They come through CSS. So cascading style sheets, if you may expand the abbreviation, and CSS is actually a style sheet language used to describe the presentation of a document written in HTML. So how elements should be rendered on the screen. So I'll show that. I'll show that if you inspect an element here, in can actually click here and then inspect. So if I click this, and we have a different styles, right? So if we have background transparent, all those properties are there. These are CSS actually. So if I change that, if I say, I don't know whether if it works or not. So I said, yeah, see how the color change, right? So that's what actually CSS gives the style to a website. Okay, so that's it for CSS. And then we have JavaScript. So JavaScript is actually what gives behavior to a website. So it's like when I click on this home, what should happen? So if I click on this try Canva Pro, it will take me to their premium, that page. And if I click text, or if I click here, this editing box will appear around here. And if I select this, the color will change too. And all those changes and those behavior, if you see here, are done by JavaScript. So what happens if I go to a site, the same Tesla site, you can see my settings, right? This is the Chrome settings, and JavaScript can select JavaScript content settings. Yes, JavaScript, and no sites are allowed to JavaScript, and in that section, no, not allowed to JavaScript, we add that HTTPS www.tesla.com and add that here. Okay. And if I go to tesla.com, see, nothing is there because I've disabled JavaScript and only a plain background. You see nothing there. And if I remove that and reload the page, see here, the page again becomes interactive. So that's it. The JavaScript is the thing that gives the behavior to websites. Okay. And that's for this part. And moving on to HTML, where we have Nikhil again.
Yeah, okay. So yeah. You know what? HTML, CSS, JS, like you may be confused a bit. So I'll just show you something. Okay, like what exactly HTML is. So you can see my screen now, right? So what I'll do is I'll just go to the meta site. Okay. And I'll press Ctrl+Shift+I and I'll open up the dev tools. So inside dev tools, there is something called elements. Elements is where you will see the HTML. You can see it, right? You can see my screen.
Yes, Nikhil, we can see your
Yeah,
screen.
okay. So yeah, you will go to the console and okay, this is right now showing a lot of errors. No problem. It's actually warning us that not to use it. So what I'll do is I'll clear it off and then I'll disable the CSS for you so you can understand it. Okay, document dot get elements by tag name. You can try this out. Go to your favorite website and do this. Yeah, dot remove. If you do that, you will actually find only the HTML of the site that you're in. Okay, I can put this in the chat if you. So what you're doing here is actually JavaScript. Console is a JavaScript stuff. And there is the Zoom. Come on, man. Yeah, chat. There you go. You can actually open up console and do this. Whichever site you are on, it should work, I think. Yeah. So that is basically the difference between HTML and CSS. So HTML, you basically just have the structure of the document. Okay, all you see are what? Some images, some list, some sections, and it is CSS that adds all the beauty into the website, and JavaScript adds all the functionality. So now we had a presentation. Let me find that. Okay. So yeah, this is MDN. Okay, so this is actually called Mozilla Developer Network, and these people have a beautiful website for you to learn web development. Okay, and this is not just for beginners. This is actually useful for everyone, beginners to pros. Everybody uses this only, and mostly all articles, everything on YouTube are of actually all the definitions are taken from here only. Okay, so in HTML, I'll show you how you get started. Okay, so this is actually Visual Studio Code. I showed you how to download it, right? So once you have downloaded it, you can actually right click. I mean, you can actually open a folder here, click on file, open folder, whatever folder you like. And I'm actually on the Divergent folder. So you can create a file like this. Here you can right click on it and you can go on new file and I don't know, hello.html. Okay. And okay, hello. Okay, I'll just do it in index.html for now. And how to start a web page, I mean, an HTML. So basically you start by like this. Yeah. So like doc type and HTML. Okay, just ignore all the code above. So doc type HTML. What does this do? So basically HTML, CSS, and JS are means of telling the browser, okay, hey browser, this doc type HTML says that, hey browser, whatever I'm going to write here is an HTML document, so view it accordingly. Okay, and then you have the HTML tag. So HTML tag is the, it is a markup language, HTML. So what happens is you have a lot of tags like this. You have HTML, you have head, and you have body. Okay, these are the main tags that you'll use. Okay, and this is actually whatever HTML you have, you will use these. And HTML is basically an encapsulation tag. You need to put it. Head, what it does is it allows you to give a title. Okay, so I'll just keep it Divergent for now. Now, what is this title? So if you see this web page, you see that HTML elements reference, right? So that is basically the title of that web page. Okay, so whatever website I'm going to make here will have the title Divergent. And then you have some other stuff also in head. This is actually called, okay, so this is actually meta. So what is meta? Meta tags. Meta tags are usually for search engines to find that, okay, like if you click on a link or if you hover on some link, like you will see some previews of your site, right? So that is actually taken from the meta tag description, whatever description you want, or the like what site it is, and keywords, like what are the keywords that users should search for and your website should be displayed in the search. So those are actually done by meta tags. And I'll just comment it out for now, and you can comment it by pressing Ctrl K and C. Okay, select it and press Ctrl K and C. Next thing is link. So what this does is, like, every website has an icon up at the top. Like here, what is this? A black horse or something, right? So that icon is actually given by link aria icon, or sometimes favicon, and you will give the link to that page. Link to that icon. But that again also we are not using right now, so we don't need that. So I'm just commenting it out. Now, our main part is body. So body, you have a lot of tags. So what are the tags you have? Now you can see the MDN page, right? So these are the basic tags we have, a lot of tags. And the ones we use commonly are main, div, section, paragraph, H1, L1. So I'll just show you what those are. So if I have H1, hey there, and H1 actually, there is H1 is there, H2 is there. Okay, this I'll just make it H2, and H6 is there. So basically what happens is H1 is a large heading, H6 is a small heading. That's what it means. Okay, this is H6. And
That
how
is
to view this?
Higher the numbers, smaller the size of the text.
Yeah, exactly. And how to view this? Okay, you can actually view this by right clicking on here, and yeah, you can actually open with any browser. You can just come here and open it and see that, hey there, I put it in H1. Okay, this was in H2 and this is H6. Okay, and if you go over to the tab, and here it is Divergent. See what I declared in head, and I didn't give an icon, so it defaults to the default icon. So that is your heading. And then you have what? You have paragraph. So what is paragraph? You can put some dummy text here, insert a paragraph. And what happens? Okay, now it didn't reflect here. I have to go and refresh it. Okay, so when you're developing, you don't want to go and refresh it every time. Okay, it can become tiring. So what you can do instead is, here there is something called extensions. Okay, you can go there and you can search for live server. Okay, and you can install this live server, and what it basically does is it will give you an option at the bottom of the Visual Studio Code, go live. You can see it, right? Yeah, okay. Can somebody respond in the chat?
Hey Nikhil, we are sort of short on time, so just
Yeah, okay, I'll
heads up.
just end it with this. Okay, so if you click on go live, you can actually have a server here, and you don't need to refresh it every time. Just save the document and it will get reflected there. Okay. And this is paragraph, and I'll just show you lists also. Okay. You have unordered list, and you can place something like, okay, this is actually used for grouping stuff. Like if you have, stuff of the same, what you say, type, like if you want to display some fruits, what you can do is you can use list. And if I come here and refresh it, okay, this is how a list is rendered. So see this, the meta page also has stuff like this, okay, but it came as a navbar. So that is actually done using CSS. So HTML is basically just the boilerplate or the skeleton. And then if you apply CSS to this, it becomes that. And I'll also show you how to link the CSS file. Okay, so it's basically link. It's actually done in the head tag. rel equals style sheet. And I'll give a href. So where is the style sheet located? So if I say /, it means the current directory of the index.html, whichever folder this is in. And Visual Studio Code will give me options. Okay, where is my styles folder? And I've named it as styles.css. So inside styles, if I come and I can change the color of my paragraph. Okay, I'll just target my paragraph. How do I do that? Just come here, take the paragraph tag, and I'll say background color, something like green, and hopefully it should work. Yeah, see, color became green. So this is how you actually like link your HTML with CSS. And okay, we are short on time. I wanted to show you the whole thing, but that's okay. I'll let Sidharth continue from you.
Okay, I have an announcement that is for all those who have joined, there is actually a small giveaway in the end. So stay tuned for that. And let me share my screen. I hope it's visible, right? So we have covered HTML, and if you have understood so far, can you drop the number 5 in the chat box? Okay, I see a lot of 5s coming up in the chat, and that's nice. And we have basically, we'll share this PPT with you guys, okay, so you can later refer it. And we have in CSS, there is a lot of ways in which you can refer to an element in the HTML, that is the ID selector, that is we can give an HTML element attribute or its properties, and it selects. If I give a, this is a p tag is a paragraph tag, or if I give it an ID, and if I give hashtag my ID in CS, that means that is selecting that paragraph tag with the ID my ID. So I'll tell one thing. Please note that ID can only be unique for elements. Okay, so you can't give the same ID to different elements. So there is some other thing called class. So people who have already learned C++ or object-oriented programming knows what a class is. So a class is at the base definition. നമ്മൾ class എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞു കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ ഒരു group of things which are similar property, right? So or similar behavior, right? So അങ്ങനെ ക്ലാസ് ചെയ്ത് വച്ചേക്കുന്ന കുറെ എലമെന്റ്സിന് നമ്മൾ പ്രോപ്പർട്ടി അപ്ലൈ ചെയ്ത് കൊടുക്കുമ്പോൾ we can use class. So അത് യൂണീക്ക് ആവണമെന്ന് നിർബന്ധമില്ല. You can have a different paragraph, you can have different headings with the same class name. That is, we give h1 then class equal to the class name which you would give to it. So that is actually the class selector, and ID must be unique. Class may not be. Class is not unique. Okay, you can give it to multiple elements, and that's it. Then attribute selector, that is we have these attributes, right? So if you specify an element, and within the square brackets if you specify its attribute, that will target that element with that attribute. So I can say with h1, then in square brackets, I can say that id equal to, I can also refer to it like that. And there are some other class selectors called pseudo class selectors. You see, you have seen, right? When I hover over this, the background is changing a slight bit. So that's it. So that's, we can dive deep into it. And we have the css box model. So everything in a website is actually rectangles, so rectangular boxes, and we are manipulating that rectangular boxes, and we are shaping it to our own needs, our own design. And we have the padding, then border and margin, etc. And coming to layout, layout is actually how you arrange these things in a website. That is, we have these arranged on the left side, and these buttons arranged in the top, and these slides arranged here in the center, and those arrangements are all in css layout. So if you want to learn how layout, it's another method you can use, actually Flexbox. Want to learn that, there is a awesome website out there called Flexbox Froggy. So you can go to that. I'll drop the link in the chat. Okay, you can go to that later and can complete those levels. And if you complete those levels, you will be a pro in css layout. Okay, so actually we need to, they'll have all the resources, I mean all the necessary explanations out there to get you started. Okay, so you can do that. And then coming over to JavaScript. So JavaScript is actually what gives the behavior. So I'll just simply show a demo of so it's here, right? So this is called CodePen. So similar to Visual Studio Code, you can edit HTML, CSS, and JS online as well. So this is an editor. So I've already done some things. I'll show you how it works. Control Shift set head tags, and we have body, and have this div tag. So div tag is a special tag. You can, it's actually a general tag, for you can use it to your own needs. And I have here, I'm giving a class equal to, let's say for example, box, and I target, how I target it, dot, and how I target, if I give id equal to say for example my box, if I need to target with id, I have to use hash my id, and I'll show you that. Then I
Hash my
then,
box.
so thanks. Width, we have again 100 pixels, and then we have the background color. I'll give it blue. Okay, so to see this, and I can target the same with just box. Okay, so see, again it appears. So that's how you target this with different things, and you can also add JavaScript to it if you want. If you want, like say for example, target this and then change its color. So I'll select box is equal to document. Document refers to the entire HTML document. Okay, document dot get elements by id, and I say I need an element with the id my box, and then I have box here, so I can take that box, then its style, then background color to red. Have I done anything? Yes, it is here. Oh, sorry. So we have to, it's actually a string. So if I give red, it's not, yeah, it's changed. So you see, that's how manipulated the box with, if I comment it out, it again changes back to blue. Okay, so change back to blue, and I can actually use some other uh, methods in JavaScript or the APIs which JavaScript provides and to manipulate in the way I want. So that's basically how these things work together. Okay, you can go to the spot pen and explore yourself. I'll paste that. So that's basically what it is. And if you wonder why JavaScript, then JavaScript and Java go hand in hand, similar to how car and carpet go hand in hand. That is basically they don't have anything common between, other than Java is there in JavaScript name. Okay, so don't bother about that. Now it's JavaScript is called ECMA script or ECMA script, as you can call it. And we have a standard. So when JavaScript actually came into existence it was made by Brenton Ike. So when it came to existence, it was just for the purpose of simple calculations, to do simple conversions and some small manipulations in the website. Earlier, what was if you need some calculation, you send that to the server, and server do the calculation, or the backend do the calculation. Then we get that HTML and CSS back. That's it. No interactivity was there. So JavaScript came into existence, and now it's the most popular language out there in in the field of development. So that's JavaScript. So you can so if we have a simple roadmap here. So those are the different sections you need to master, or you need to explore if you want to design some awesome sites. And I guess we'll share this PPT with you, so and you can look into it later. And for more awesome resources, and we have a DevQuest Discord channel. Actually, it's having a huge number of resources out there, so go check it out. I'll share this link here in the chat. Okay, so you can join here. So Aditya is the founder of DevQuest, and so and I would like to mention one thing, that we can't actually remember or master everything on the go, right? Nobody can. So what we do is we simply Google out. So, so be a pro Googler, okay? So Google everything. If you if you want to dive deep into it, then understand that, then you need to implement. Don't just copy paste, just understand how it works and try to change it or implement it in a way that's unique to yourself and the way you want it, and try and explore. That's it basically, and learn. And with that, we come to the end of the session, and we have some giveaways for you. Okay, so I'll stop sharing my screen. These are some links. Okay, so contains an HTML cheat sheet, and we'll be also posting it in our Discord server, as well as DevQuest Discord server, and sharing with you. And make use of this. So it contains an HTML cheat sheet and CSS cheat sheet also. And we have colorhunt.co. That's a site for getting some awesome color palettes. And we have for those who are interested in comic, we have an awesome comic there related to web development. Okay, so go check that out, and that's it basically. Any questions for us?
Thank you, Sidharth and Nikhil, for that really informative and fun session.